All right, Big Bang, it's the rundown. It is Wednesday. It is January 18th. Presented by Sport Clips, the pros in men's hair. Obviously, not every hairstylist is created equal. Many stylists don't have much experience cutting men's hair, but you don't know it until it's too late. At Sport Clips, all stylists undergo specialized training, specifically in how to cut and style men's hair, making them not just stylists, but scissor cutting scholars and fade fanatics. After all, it's not just any average haircut. This is the big leagues we're talking about. And these are hair cutting professionals, so don't hand your bushy old noggin over to just anyone with a pair of clippers. Sport Clips takes cutting men's hair to another level, which is why they truly are the pros in men's hair. Sport Clips is just about everywhere. I know, like in college towns, that was like the go-to for sure. I would always go to Sport Clips, so go check them out. They're great. Hit you with the old massage, get a good haircut. So make sure you're checking out Sport Clips wherever you are. The pros in men's hair. All right, hey, it's myself, Jeff Nadeau, Dante. There was a little bit of beef on Twitter between these two yesterday. We'll get into that in the after show. We'll smooth it out. Maybe we won't smooth it out. Maybe they'll get into it again. We'll certainly figure it out here at the end. But we'll get into the topics.
Ed.
What's wrong?
Ed,
What's wrong?
Ed the pot stir.
Hey, was talking to John Rich yesterday. He's like, "Hey, what are we doing for the rundown today?" I said, "Hey, well, Nadeau and Dante were getting a little scuffle last night. Maybe it'll be good to bring them on." And
I mean, he was out of line, but we'll talk about that. It's all good. Listen, Dante's a good guy. We'll talk about it.
Likewise.
All right,
I'm looking forward to it. Let's get into it.
We'll wait for the after show. All right, first topic here. George Santos, this fucking guy, is in the news every day. He's getting harassed by reporters. Seems rightfully so. This is probably the worst story that's come out, but it's alleged right now. Allegedly stole $3,000 from a disabled veteran's dog. Dante, we'll lead off with you.
Dude, it's not even close to the worst story. It's fucking terrible, but this is like tip of the iceberg for this guy. He made up a lie that his family died in 9/11. I mean, this guy, it cracks me up. I've wanted to blog this so bad, but I know not to waste my time. It'll never see the light of day with Hubs and Nate running the show. But the story's just so outrageous because all politicians are scumbags and liars. This guy has taken it and ran with it so far. And it's hilarious because all his fellow congressmen are like, we can't believe that we have to work alongside this guy. He's a total fraud. It's like, yeah, all of you are. It's almost like wag the dog. I love it and I hate it at the same time.
I do.
This is as Dante said, he's a total fugazi, this guy. I mean, just complete counterfeit, phony. And again, at one point, I mean, he's been leaned on so much by these guys, and these girls that are in Congress. He's constantly got reporters in his face every day. But this is rough. I mean, I guess the question I would have with this homeless guy is, why would he make this up? I mean, he's not going to get any money out of it. He just wants the money that he was rightfully promised by this scumbag. I agree, though. I don't think it's the worst thing he's done because he's done so many egregious things. He's, made up that, saying your family died in 9/11, that he, little stuff.
That he went to law school,
yep.
He went to Yale, graduated. I mean, his entire resume is fucking fake. It's unbelievable.
And by the way, I mean, not only did the guy never see any money in this alleged thing, but the dog passed away. I mean, you don't feel any fucking issue with the dog passing away. Why even admit to doing, I'm going to do a charity, and then, it's just fucked up. I don't know. I can't even.
I feel bad for the dog. That's the only entity I feel bad for in this whole situation. Vets are kind of shady. Don't get me started on that whole thing.
But I guess the question is, what do you do with this guy? You can't. I mean, you can. I guess you could say he can't. They want him to.
And stuff, they want him to step down, and
but he ain't going to do that.
He's like refusing. Yeah, he's like refusing. He's like, I won't run again, but I'm finishing out my term.
Just say I was elected. They picked me, and it's like. But then you also have to ask yourself, and I'm not going to get into the names of the people that we're talking about here, but you got to ask yourself how some of these folks get elected. Some of the people that they're just nuts. And they say the nuttiest shit. They lie. And we all know politicians lie, but I mean, some of the shit they say, like, again, I'm not going to say who, but it's fucking egregious. How do these people represent Americans?
Oh yeah, I don't know fully of all the shit this guy said. This is the first one where I was like, holy fuck. Like if he's really sold $3,000 and a dog died over this, that's pretty fucking bad. I just knew the Jewish thing, which is like so preposterous and straight out of a skit. And to me, it's like, it's almost like I'm sure people have said this already. Like my radar's up. Like this guy like was like, hey, politics are getting so nutty. Let's just make shit up and see how far we can go. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this is all documented and this is going to be like on a fucking comedy show in like a couple years.
Like Borat.
Yeah, I honestly would not be surprised, dude.
But Eddie, keep in mind, you have to like remember he came to America as an essential fugitive, right? He was facing check fraud in Brazil and just hopped and left. And came to, this guy's been a criminal since the beginning. So all these little lies that he's made and all these things that he said, it all leads up to this. And there's no way it's not. How is this not true?
He fits right in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I don't know. The cat's so far out of the bag. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And it's not going to stop there. The more that shit goes, the more shit's going to come out. So it really is crazy. Next topic here, Alabama basketball coach Nate Oates. In wake of the Darius Miles shooting, has reached out to Ray Lewis because he went through a similar situation, he says. Jeff, obviously big college basketball guy. We'll start with you.
Explain how it's a similar situation. I don't know. I don't know. So, look, Ray Lewis was exonerated, whatever. This is a sitting player on your team that took part, admittedly, in a homicide. He provided the gun. He told investigators he provided the gun. He was seen on camera. I don't understand how the two intercross. Did I miss anything when Ray Lewis went to prison for this? And they're not even the same situation. How is this the same situation?
Oh, man, you are setting me up here so well. And I'm looking at these notes right here in the italics telling me what I can't say, so I'm not going to say it. But everybody knows how this is a similar situation. I read this blog last night that Riggs wrote, and I had to reread it like 3 times because I was so confused. First off, why did Ray Lewis even take this call? Second off, how did this become public knowledge that Oates did this? Thirdly, what possessed Oates to? I mean, Ray Lewis is a fucking crazy person.
Oates said it. That's why it became
Oates admitted to it.
But so, I mean, do you know how crazy you have to be to call Ray Lewis and be like, hey, I know you might have some expertise on this situation. I mean, that's taking your life in your own hands to begin with right there.
Well, his daughter went to Alabama a year and a half ago.
I don't care. That doesn't matter. I actually think if you're going to play that card, I think Ray Caruth is the guy that you go to for advice.
Well, what do you even say to him? Like, you call him and you say, "Hey, Ray, it's Nate down at Alabama." What do you even ask? Like, "Hey,
how's my guy beat these charges?" I don't know.
It's bizarre.
Can we get Travis is for the boys and Jake Bass? He's a producer on Foreplay. Can we get them on the Zoom? They went to Alabama a couple years ago. They got any insight on it?
Maybe they can comment on it.
Anybody who went to Alabama, they can.
Jeff, question though, what the hell is going on down there? Like, how did that program just blow up? And obviously, I mean, they got some scrupulous individuals on that team, but like, what is going on down there?
You mean with the team itself or him?
Yeah, with the program, the basketball program.
Well, look, it's a program that's completely. I mean, we always remember Alabama. We don't talk about football. We don't talk about basketball.
They used to be irrelevant. Basketball.
Yeah, Nate Oates has done a great job. He's a great recruiter. I'm not a big fan of his coaching strategies. I don't like him as a coach, but he's a great recruiter, a guy that has been able to get some of these kids to come there. He's taken them, and we've seen that with the NIL stuff. And Kentucky's not that place people want to go anymore. They have the willingness. We're all on the same level with NIL. So, yeah, they've done a nice job. And I'll admit, I mean, last night, it didn't bother them much. The side stuff, they went out and beat up Vanderbilt in a game. They're very good. A lot of people think they could be one of the, they may be the best team in the country. But, I do feel bad for Nate Oates. Okay. He doesn't, what these kids do when they go back to their dorms or hit, that's up to them. And I don't think they care much about curfew. It was a Saturday night. This is just a very sad situation that he's now involved in. I just don't know why he would do this, and B, I thought he handled the press conference pretty well. Why do this? Why admit this? It's just very odd to me.
Very.
I don't know. It's a reach out to Ray Lewis. I don't know. It's very strange.
Phone a friend.
Yeah. Next topic here, staying in college basketball. Taylor Hansbrough and John Wall are in a he said, she said argument here. John Wall told the story on Theo Pinson's podcast, said that basically Tyler Hansbrough kind of miffed him. He said, I don't talk to recruits. And if Hansbrough didn't miff him like that, he would have went to UNC. Jeff, we'll start with you again. Hansbrough denied it, by the way. He said that did not happen.
He shouldn't deny it. This is fucking true, and everybody knows it. It's not like we're talking about a guy that wasn't one of the most hated players in the history of college basketball. Any list will put him there. He was an arrogant motherfucker who, by the way, I don't think people understand. Do people realize John Wall literally was a top 5 player when he was coming out? He was a high-level guy. He's a player everybody knows. And look, again, it's no secret. Hansbrough's a fucking prick. Everybody knew that. You either liked him or you didn't. And the only people that liked him were the ones that went to UNC. Everybody else fucking hated him. So, yeah, I don't buy that he didn't do this. He surely did this. And, yeah, they got screwed out of a recruit because of his antics and behavior. This is definitely true. It definitely happened.
I love stories like this where somebody just gives an account thinking nothing of it, and it gets back to, like, the source. And it blows up in their face when it gets like fact checked by the actual source. But what I love even more about this story was the subtle dig at Calipari. And the Bank of Calipari is one of the best phrases I've ever heard. I have hated that guy since his UMass days. I have a long-standing grudge with him. I have no idea how he has skated the law as long as he has. I think he's is slimy as college coaches come, and anytime anybody calls him out on it, I'm all for it. So I agree with you. Hansbrough's a piece of shit, but Calipari's a bigger piece of shit.
Now, I will say, I don't think he's a piece. I think he's just an arrogant guy who people fucking hated, and he just has that, kind of like me in a way, right? Like if someone came out and said something like this about me, it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely true. He's a fucking prick. He's, like. I have a reputation of being a bit abrasive, right? So, like if someone said this about Eddie, it'd be like, well, I don't know. He's a pretty nice guy. He's always pretty fair with people, at least for the most part. I don't know. It's all about reputation. Hansbrough had that reputation. Like if this came out, Eddie, about, I don't know.
Cherokee Parks.
Yeah. But then it came out about like another arrogant guy. Like you would say, yeah, that definitely happened.
But here's the thing. I don't talk to recruits is like, that's where the line is to me, because like maybe he didn't have a positive interaction. Maybe he miffed him a little bit. Maybe he wasn't overly like friendly. I could see that. But did the words "I don't talk to recruits" come out of his mouth? That's what I question. Because that's quite the line, right?
So are you thinking this is like a Cons Rico thing, where like Cons will say he got?
No,
that's a great. Is
that what this
comparison.
is? Is this because Cons will tell you that it wasn't what Rico said, and Rico will say that Cons big timed them completely.
No, I think people have interactions, and like especially when they're so long ago, and I think people read interactions differently, right? Yeah. I think people have interactions and they're like, whoa, I remember that interaction completely differently than you do, right? I think that happens.
100%.
And I think like Tyler Hansbrough, he probably was like some fucking hotshot guy. And like he came in there, maybe it was like John Wall was like, oh, what's up, man? He's like, oh, what's up? Like, and he like wasn't maybe as enthusiastic when he shook his hand or something. And he was like, yo, that guy was kind of a dick. And he was like, yo, what's up with Hansbrough? And someone was like, yo, it's all right. He just doesn't really talk to recruits. And then that's where it probably got miscombobulated. That's where my brain is.
But and that's where maybe it could be not believable. If he's saying this about Sean May or Ed Cota, I mean, first of all, no one would care about it, and it's not going to get the headlines that it's getting with us. Second of all, we can kind of look at it and say, well, yeah, that makes sense. Those were, they weren't prick kind of the best, thinking they're the best kind of guys. I don't know. I think he did it, but that's just his reputation. So,
But doesn't that make a little bit of sense what I said too? Like
Yeah.
that's possible.
Absolutely. And it was so long ago. I mean, when was that? Late 2000s? I mean,
yeah. Exactly. But I don't know.
Eddie, I think you nailed it. I think shit gets lost in translation, and over time it gets, it gets, over, blown out of proportion a little bit. And I think that's where it kind of snowballed.
Yeah, I don't doubt that Hansbrough was a fucking dick to him, but maybe he just didn't say that. And then whoever his fucking recruiting guy was like, hey, don't worry about it. He's just not like a big recruits guy.
That is a wild thing to say. Just, I don't talk to recruits.
That's what I'm saying. I just doubt that he said that word.
Especially to John Wall.
Yeah. I mean, because isn't that part of like your role as a face of the team is you gotta
you're an ambassador kind of.
Exactly.
And especially like playing ball with you're right, Jeff. Like John Wall was a fucking big deal.
Yeah. It's like if I'm Roy Williams or whatever, I'm saying when this kid comes here, you treat him like he's on this team, right? Because we want him here. This kid's, he was the top, at top 5 in the state, top, guard in the state. So that's crazy. And then that's where it kind of wavers a little bit, It's interesting that it was Hansbrough.
Yeah. All right, next topic here. An absolute fucking tragedy in Wheel of Fortune. Guy missed out on $1 million because he couldn't pronounce Achilles. Roll the video.
I saw.
Oh, that'd be a good idea, yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
We can't accept that.
Okay.
Shelby.
I'll solve.
Yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
Yeah, that's it.
Tragedy. Achilles. Dante, we'll start with you.
I mean, this is Dave Portnoy if he's ever on Wheel of Fortune.
Pronunciation and memorization is the lowest form of human intelligence. That's just a fact.
Zion Malik or whatever his name is.
Chatty Pages.
The one who left the band and is banging Jiggy Gahad. What is her name?
Gigi Hadid.
Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin. And Dominic Sue. Team and Dominic Sue. And I don't know if you saw Rick Riggle. He got a show on TBS late. It's just the show where we're pitching. What are you laughing?
I love that name. I wish his name was Rick Riggle.
What is his name?
Rob Riggle.
Bobby Marjanovic. Boban Markonovic. I popped a bill in Ibiza. Like, Jarul took down his fucking tweets. Jarul's getting fucking internet bullied.
Like, his first name's John, his last name's Rule. Don't. You say it like drool, like from your mouth.
I mean, to a T. This happens to him. He can't pronounce anything that anybody knows correctly. So that's where my mind went right away. I feel horrible for this guy. Dave would have found a way to spin it into something viral and would have made money off it somehow. This poor guy's just shit out of luck. Pat Sajak's a cruel, ruthless motherfucker. Ruthless.
Jeff?
Okay, I'm going to maybe go down a road I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it. Didn't this happen like 10 years ago?
I think it happens all the time.
No, but this exact
this exact video?
Yeah, this video is like 10 years old, I believe.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
This happened in like 2014, I believe.
It could, dude. I bet, dude.
I'm not trying to call out John Rich, but
who blogged it?
Did he?
So I will say it's possible I got duped. It was scheduled to go out on the blog, and then I think it's no longer scheduled. So this is starting to add up what you just said.
I'm pretty sure this happened like 2014.
Hey, we're keeping this in.
I'm not trying to listen. I love John Rich. He's one of my favorite people there. I just don't want people to be like, oh, that happened like 20 years ago.
Hey, we're keeping this in.
That's tough. That, as soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, you know what? I saw it didn't get posted. But it was tweeted recently. Does that count?
Maybe they didn't know either.
Hey, good call. I thought I didn't know what you were gonna say. That was
Hey, I'll tell
I
you
don't want
one.
to be like that guy, but
I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one thing, and I learned this yesterday myself. You can't get anything by Nadu. You just can't. Great segue, right? That's a great segue right there.
I don't want them to come for John Rich in the comments. So I'm trying to nip this in the bud and make some content out of it. That's all.
Hey, I appreciate that. That's just good looking out to do. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Man of honor.
John Rich, shit happens, man. Listen, blame that guy for getting it out there. It went reviral. And when shit goes reviral, sometimes it's just back in the news like cycle. So
I will say this is certainly not the first or second time I've been duped by an old story on the rundown. So I maybe need a little bit more scrutiny going forward. But hell, the internet's a crazy place. Stuff's always popping up from whoever the hell knows when. I'll learn from it and get better.
It's all right. You got the R. You still got the R in parentheses next to you. You could still make these mistakes. It's okay. Like that.
All right, that's fair.
And you still have exposed brick on your wall, so you're good on my book.
Thank you. I had to set that up to show it just in case I got called out for something on the rundown.
Thank you, John. I didn't do anything on this brand new Wheel of Fortune story.
I think maybe he inserted it. Isn't he from Indiana? And the kid was wearing an Indiana sweatshirt, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe you're trying. Are you an Indiana fan, John Rich?
I was born in Bloomington, so I do cheer for Indiana.
What's going on here, John?
Wait, why would I? That makes him look terrible. Why would I want to insert that?
Colts guy.
Maybe just promotion. I don't know.
I should have been trying to protect him.
I know. No, I have. I didn't even look at this one because I thought maybe they don't know that it's happened 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, all right, big 10 years for Purdue people when this drops, I'm sure. Last topic, another John Rich blog. I think John Rich, now we're just finding out he's stuffing the ballot. McDonald's accidentally handed a bag of cash to a drive-through guy. This was on TikTok. Nadu, what do you got on this?
Yeah, I'm guessing this particular McDonald's is going to change some of the ways they do things. It's probably likely they just put the night deposits in a bag. They couldn't find a bag, so they threw it in one. Someone else comes in the view, grabs the bag, and accidentally gives it to somebody.
And this bag. Well, what's in this bag? Their fucking deposit. Why? Just a couple $1,000s here.
I'm always fascinated by these stories, because you'll see people that'll go and like spend the money and then they'll get arrested for doing that. It's like when you get money in your account, you don't know where it comes from and you just go spend it. Yeah, they're going to come back on you for that. That said, I think it was an honest mistake. It was a night deposit, clearly, probably, right?
Do you think it was a real video? A lot of people are saying John Rich got duped.
That's well, in the world where it was on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Do you think
that? I got to tell you, as someone who hates these fucking videos that these people clearly create and just put out just to try to be funny, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they just put it in some bag and said, that's our night deposit box or bag. Just someone else comes in from the other area and they don't know and they hand it over. I don't believe it was fake.
Mm-hmm. Dante.
So I have a very close friend of mine whose family owns a bunch of McDonald's, and they are just giving money away at these places. They are not the smartest people, no offense. They're very hardworking people, great character. I respect the hell out of them. But the stories he tells me about the fraud that they're subjected to, they'll get people that will call up, they'll get the office numbers, and they'll tell people that they're like the CEO of the company and they need to pull money out of the safe and go buy gift cards and give them to them. It's like basically Nigerian email scams. And they have to like put signs up all over the office, like, don't for any reason give money to anybody. Nobody will ever call you for money. They get duped all the time over shit like this. So I saw this story and I was just like, oh, another McDonald's, like just losing money.
Wasn't there a recent, I'm not talking about the game or whatever. There was another one recently, like a documentary about scams at McDonald's.
Dude, it was that Don't Pick Up the Phone documentary.
Yes.
It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They were this fucking hacker. He was calling people and they was having these managers strip search the women at the locations. And it was the craziest shit I've ever seen, dude. It's honestly worth a watch for anybody out there.
That's wild. I haven't heard of that.
Dude, listen, it's fucking bizarre. They were legitimately, this guy was so convincing that he was having these manager strip search. It's honestly freaky. It was fucked up.
By the way,
was
speaking of, I mean,
horrifying.
I don't believe the same. I think it might have been Burger King or another fast food. Did you guys see that dumbass that posted a photo of him standing on lettuce? Did you see that?
Yeah. Burger King.
And like within 20 minutes, they found out who it was and he was cut loose.
Yeah, I did see that.
But like, how did it be? I got to give it to the sleuths on the internet, okay? Because you could put a photo in a white room somewhere, and in 20 seconds, 20 minutes, someone's going to find out where you are. These sleuths are, there's
Metadata.
Yes.
Metadata, bro.
Yeah. Sleuths.
Dude, yeah, that's like someone could be like, "Oh, where's this guy?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, I was walking down this street and I saw like the corner of Biggie's hat through a window, and I know where Jeff Nadeau lives."
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for
That's
real.
why when that whole OnlyFans thing came out, like my dick was on OnlyFans, I thought better of it. I thought, damn, there's some asshole sleuth that's gonna. I mean, I know it's just my living room, but someone's gonna find this somewhere. I feel like
Is the Cox out on OnlyFans? Huh?
it is, but it's not been located. So.
You took that in stride, I gotta say. I was impressed.
We
Well,
talking
you know
like
what?
a short clip or like a full porno, Jeff?
Nah, it was like a 30 seconds.
30
You didn't see my
seconds.
face, luckily. So it would someone would have to know what my living room looks like.
Oh, really?
The T. Now, luckily, no one has. So yeah, I'm proud of it. I don't care.
You were filming, or someone, Gaz, or someone was filming?
No, I was filming. It was like a POV type of shot.
Ah, good. That's nice. All right, good. McDonald's, don't be handing the cash out to the drive-through. All right, after show. All right, I feel like we had a nice friendly 20 minutes, but we could get into your beef. What happened? Why were you guys squabbling yesterday?
There wasn't really a beef. So let me set stage on what I did. Okay, so it was Monday morning, 9:30. This happens in Italy, right? So that's middle of the day, 2-ish, Dante, right? So this comes out. I see it. I write it up, right? I see that he got captured. I found some info on how he got captured through some of their news agencies over there. I put a little bit about who the guy was. I got it out. Now, I want to make this clear. As Dante said earlier, a lot of the blogs I write don't get posted, okay? They've told me they're too violent sometimes. Like, we're not going to post some of this stuff. So I kind of just threw it out. I put enough necessary info. I got it out. I thought it was substantiated, whatever. And then Dante wrote it. I don't care that Dante wrote it. I really don't. In fact, I think he knows a lot about the mafia, to be fair. I've told him that. I was just like, why did he take a shot at me? I thought I did. And as someone that has a passion for what I do, I try to almost put too many facts in sometimes. And I think they take too long. So it wasn't really that he wrote it. I don't really care. It was like he took a shot at me. And then he said, maybe I was mad because one of my heroes got arrested. It's like, yo, whoa, hold on. I don't think Matteo Messina Denaro is a hero. Second of all, I don't believe he's been running the mafia. In fact, I think it's been a decade since he's been running the Sicilian mafia. And again, Dante, you know this. They have clans over there. Everybody runs shit. They have their own towns. They run shit. I don't believe he's a factor. Comparing it to El Chapo, I think is a bit of a stretch. But I want to hear from him and see what he thinks.
First off, very poor choice of words on my part, and I apologize to Jeff. I could see why he thought that was a shot. It honestly wasn't. I think I was just trying to emphasize that it's a huge fucking story over there. And I don't think he was at the level, I agree with you. I don't think he was at the level of, mastermind that El Chapo was, but in terms of figurehead, he's definitely that big. I mean, the country is like rejoicing that this guy is gone. It's like
which is Wizard of Oz
when the Wicked Witch is dead.
But that's my problem. The parading.
That's why I blogged it, because I wanted to emphasize how big of a deal it was and how big of a piece of shit this guy was. Like,
absolutely,
you left out a few things, like he dissolved that kid in acid.
I did that for a reason.
2 years.
They usually don't post that stuff.
Yeah, and now knowing that now, which I didn't know before you said that, and I totally can see it. I mean, they just nitpick. They look for any reason not to post something that isn't about the Washington Redskins or poker or tennis, and they'll just tell you whatever they they can to give you a reason not to put something up. But I understand that now.
And I don't want this to turn into a slamming certain editors, but it's like, it also is important to say, and Dante, you know this, he wrote that blog last week about Sinaloa, Ovidio Guzman Lopez gets arrested. That blog did fucking numbers. These blogs do numbers every time they're put out. And it's like, I don't know why they don't put them up. Like,
well, a lot of it's because the American media doesn't cover this shit.
Right.
Like
so
that was my
yeah.
Yeah, that was my whole reason I put it up, is because I was like, this is wild. Like, this is a war going on across our border, and it's not even on nightly news here.
I literally, Eddie, listen to this, broke the story that a drug lord in Mexico was just disappeared from the federal prison database. Disappeared. Nobody knew why. I was the only person in America to write about that on Barstool, and they didn't want to post it right away. I should put this fucking thing out. I did one last week about an ISIS. He beheaded people. He just disappears from the federal website. No one knows where he is. Why are we making deals with this sort of person? They didn't put the blog up.
They won't do anything on ISIS or Al Qaeda unless Chaps does it. That's like rule number one. I learned that a few years ago.
Yeah,
but don't get me into it. But Jeff, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean any disrespect. You do a great job. Like I said, if there's an open invite to come on and talk about this story, I would love to.
Well, now I'm going to bend the knee, which is what I try to do now. I think this would be a great little...
I just feel like you're being silenced, huh?
I think this would be a great 15, 20-minute thing on my YouTube channel, or we can do it wherever, where Dante and I just chat. Because I'll admit...
Yeah, let's do it.
Dante is super smart with like over there, right? He knows about the Ndrangheta and all these different things. I'm more of an American-based mafia connoisseur. So I think it would be a great discussion. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I gotta run, but I'll text you. Let's set something up. I'm definitely down.
Good.
All right, good. Looks like the beef got smoothed over. The sit down is not on the tape,
Fucking
like Dante
Eddie.
originally thought, maybe.
Eddie, you know what I love? You know what I love about you?
What?
Tried for one of your first episodes of the Portnoy show, Dave goes, he told some story about me. He said, man, Dante's got so many good stories from early Barstool. We got to get him on the show. I text you. I go, let me know when we can set up the date. It's not that easy. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. For like months, no date ever got set up. A little tweet goes out yesterday. Not even controversy, inadvertent controversy. You send me a text. Hey, you want to come on and talk about? Hey, you want to come on and talk about the beef with?
Well,
Dave
Dante.
tomorrow?
Here's Dante. Here's how Dave works. Here's a little rehash how Dave works.
I know how he works.
No, Dave will say that, and then I'll ask him, and then I'll say no. Dave texted me early on in the day Portnoy show. He says, "Hey, we should have Billy Mitchell on the pod at some point." I said, "Great, let's get him on." So we're like, all right, hey, we got Billy Mitchell. I said, all right, let's Billy Mitchell like ready to go for this week. And he goes, oh, I don't think he'll be good. Like, all right, what do you want me to do? Like, it was your idea to have him on. And he says, I don't think he'll be good. He changes his mind so many times. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know you're always mad at me for that, but that's just how
I'm
he is.
mad at you, man. I'm never mad at you. I love you.
Love you too.
Love you
all
guys.
Right.
Love all you guys.
All right,
see you
that's
later.
the rundown. Weird rundown, but all right, I thought it was pretty good. All right, everybody. Hope it was good. We will rundown be back tomorrow. See you then.